Another Sunday, another wreck, and another post-race interview where Bubba Wallace is standing in the garage, fire suit still on, trying to explain why his car ended up in the wall. Meanwhile, the NASCAR internet is already sharpening its knives. But this time, Bubba hit back. And what he said is about to split this fan base right down the middle. Before we get into it, if you're a true NASCAR fan, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. NASCAR Nation News is just getting started, and we're pushing toward our next subscriber milestone. If you live and breathe the sport every week, you're in the right place. Now, let's get into it. Sunday night, Nashville Superspeedway, the Cracker Barrel 400. Bubba Wallace and the 23XI racing team rolled into the weekend with something to prove. And for a while, it looked like things were finally going their way. He put together a solid opening stage. He collected stage points. The car had speed. The momentum was there. At first, nobody saw it coming, then everything unraveled. Wallace got caught up in an incident involving Carson Hocevar and Buescher. Now, let's be honest. Multi-car incidents are part of NASCAR. They're chaotic, they're messy, and sometimes they're impossible to avoid. But the real damage came moments later. The No. 23 Toyota made contact with Alex Bowman's number 48, and that was it. Day over. Another DNF added to Bubba Wallace's 2026 season. And here's the thing. This wasn't an isolated incident. We're talking about multiple DNFs already this year, multiple Sundays ending long before the checkered flag, multiple opportunities slipping away. And every time it happens, the same cycle begins. The comments start pouring in, the hot takes explode across social media, the debates take over NASCAR Twitter, and somehow Bubba Wallace becomes the headline. Not the racing, not the circumstances, just Bubba. However, this week was different. This week, he didn't just absorb the criticism, he pushed back. Standing in the garage, clearly frustrated, Wallace delivered a message that caught a lot of people's attention. He said, just minding our own business yet again. Another week that our team doesn't get the finish that we deserve. I'm tired, man. And honestly, that quote, it's differently when you followed this team throughout the season. Because whether you like Bubba Wallace or not, there's no denying the effort. Week after week, he's pouring everything he has into a 23XI racing program that's still growing, still evolving, and still trying to establish itself among NASCAR's elite. Yet time after time, he finds himself caught in someone else's mess, or taking the blame for it. But then something unexpected happened. Wallace followed that up with a statement that is guaranteed to fire people up. He said, I somehow become the bad guy days following this. So I got to figure out how to be better and learn from it. Think about that for a second. That's not someone pretending the criticism doesn't exist. That's someone living with it every single week. He knows exactly how he's viewed. He knows every mistake gets magnified. He knows every incident gets dissected. And whether people agree with him or not, carrying that kind of spotlight week after week takes a certain level of mental toughness, because the NASCAR fan base does not hand Bubba Wallace a free pass. Not ever. And sure enough, the reaction came fast. Some fans called it another excuse. Others said he never takes responsibility and always points the finger elsewhere. One fan even said they like Bubba personally, but wouldn't keep him on their team because of how these situations are handled. And to be fair, some of those criticisms aren't entirely unreasonable. When you're consistently involved in incidents, whether they're your fault or not, eventually the question becomes, what can you control? That's a fair question. But here's the other side of the argument. Carson Hocevar has been involved in plenty of wrecks this season. Buescher has had his share of incidents as well. Racing isn't always black and white. Most crashes aren't caused by one driver and one driver alone. The reality is usually much more complicated. The problem? It doesn't matter. Because in the court of NASCAR Twitter, Bubba Wallace is always on trial. And for a lot of people, the verdict was decided years ago. And that's where the story gets even bigger. Because this isn't just about one driver having a bad day, this is about expectations. 23XI Racing isn't a team trying to hang around the back of the field. This is an organization co-owned by Denny, Hamlin, and Michael Jordan. This is a team with championship ambitions. Every DNF hurts. Every missed opportunity matters. Every bad finish creates even more pressure. And Bubba Wallace is expected to carry a major part of that load. The pressure isn't imaginary. It's very real. Now the focus shifts to Michigan, the Firekeepers Casino 400 on June 7th, and Bubba needs a reset fast. Michigan is the kind of track where consistency can quietly change everything. Clean laps matter. Stage points matter. Avoiding trouble matters. It's the type of race where a solid day can rebuild momentum before anyone realizes it's happening. And that's exactly what Wallace needs right now. Because at some point, the conversation has to move beyond bad luck. The playoffs aren't going to wait. The standings don't care what happened at Nashville. And the window to put yourself in a strong position doesn't stay open forever. So now the question lands with you, and I want real answers in the comments. Is Bubba Wallace constantly getting dealt a bad hand, or is he a driver who needs to take a harder look in the mirror? Because the more you dig into the story, the less simple it becomes. And I think that's what makes this debate so interesting. Drop your take below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to NASCAR Nation News, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. We bring the real NASCAR conversation every single week, and we'll see you at Michigan.